By now you should have a good understanding of how to carry out simple programming tasks on a computer. We've also seen how useful loops can be in real life, for example with a clock that ticks forever without stopping. In this lesson we're going to see how we can use loops to create repeated tasks on the computer. Let's imagine I'd like to make my cat sprite turn around continuously. Since this is a movement command, I shall add the turn command to a when flag is clicked trigger, and we'll see what happens. As you can see, every time I click the flag to start the program, the cat turns a little bit. To make the cat do a complete turn, I'm going to have to keep pressing the green flag over and over again. An easier way to do this is to use a loop. Loops are available under the control menu, since they affect the way we control our blocks of code. To use the forever loop, I first need to drag the turn block into some empty space, so I have room for my forever block to go. I now simply drag and drop it into place. Finally, I can drag and drop the turn block inside the forever loop. It has to be placed inside the loop, since this is the code that will be repeated forever. Let's now click the green flag to run our program to see what happens. As you can see, the cat sprite is turning round on the spot, over and over again. This will never stop since it's running inside a forever loop. The only way to stop it is to stop the program running by clicking on the stop button here. Let's add another movement block into the forever loop, this time the move block. Let's think about what's going to happen now. Every time the loop runs, the sprite will turn right 15 degrees, then move forwards 10 spaces. If you look closely, you can see how the turn and move blocks lock together like jigsaw puzzle pieces. This shows that once the first action has finished running, the next one will run. You will notice that the forever loop doesn't have this jigsaw puzzle piece. This is because no loop can ever run after a forever loop, since the loop will never come to an end. It will never finish running. As you can see, when we run this program now, the cat is still turning in circles, but instead of turning on the spot, he is effectively walking around the outside of a circle, as he's moving forwards, then turning, then moving forwards, then turning, and so on. I'm going to add another sprite from the library, as I'd like to explore another type of loop, the repeat loop. This allows us to specify the number of times the loop should run. I'd like to use this with my dragon sprite to make him breathe fire by changing backwards and forwards between his two costumes. I will start by dragging my when flag is clicked trigger into place, then my repeat loop, then my next costume command. Finally, I will drag a wait 1 second block from the control menu, so each costume change happens after a 1 second pause. Let's see just this in action now by clicking on the when flag is clicked trigger block here. As you can see, the next costume block and the wait 1 second block are run within the loop. After the loop has run 10 times, it will stop. Of course, I can easily change the number of times it repeats by clicking on the number 10 and entering a new number. Let's try repeating it 4 times. Easy! The final type of loop is a repeat until loop. We will learn more about how to use this once we know how to use variables and how to compare their values. So as you can see, we can easily make use of loops to repeat one or more commands. The forever loop will run forever until we force it to stop, whereas the repeat loop will repeat a certain number of times and then stop.